Yeah, welcome everyone to another episode of Data-Driven Deep Dive, our podcast. And today we are in the beautiful city of Copenhagen that has been recently voted as the best city in Europe.
Yes.
And the reason why we're here is our special guest of the day. It's Ole. Mm-hmm. Nice to have you with us, Ole.
Thank you. Thank you for coming over, Jim.
My pleasure. I think it was kind of overdue to meet you in person. So you gave me the opportunity, the chance, so I took it. And I'm now very excited to have you here with us. And Ole, before we jump further in introducing you and diving into the topic, let me tell you that whenever we start an episode, we start with a fun fact about a river. Okay? Where either the guest is coming from or where we are and so on. So we are in Copenhagen, but you are born in Odense?
Odense, yes.
Yeah. So, and there is the Odense O?
Yeah, exactly.
So the Odense River. And I wanted to share with you a fun fact over that river.
Okay.
Yeah. So before you were born in that city, there was another great spiritual, or let's say, great mind that is famous for stories that he is creating.
Yeah.
You know who I'm referring to?
Yes, obviously.
Hans Christian Andersen.
Yes.
So he is also born and he lived in Odense. Yeah. And it is, I don't know, it is claimed at least, that this is what my research told me, that his mother was a washing woman.
Yeah.
And she was washing basically clothes then in that Odense River, Odense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is claimed that he spent a lot of time there, and some of the ideas for his fairy tales, the little mermaid, the nightingale, the Nachtigall in German, the ugly duck.
Yeah.
So they all are a little bit inspired by the river.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's true, but I think it sounds really nice that he spent some time there. And I thought, from one person who is really good in writing and taking people on the journey with their book, to another one.
Oh, thank you.
So so you are also, a very well known in the data and tech industry for your book, The Enterprise Data Catalog. Mm-hmm. And now your latest book is also coming out, The Fundamentals of Metadata Management. It's soon to be published. Okay. And you are sharing a different kind of fairy tales, I would say.
Yes.
Than Hans Christian Anders.
Yeah.
But I would say you also make sense of the invisible.
Thank you so much.
Were you expecting such an introduction?
No, and it's actually one of the most intelligent descriptions of Hans Christian Andersen I've heard in a long time, because everything in Odense is named after Hans Christian Andersen. So you can go on the Hans Christian Andersen Golf Resort, the airport is Hans Christian Andersen Airport, everything is... Yeah. But this is really something new, and I do actually think that there's a certain kind of storytelling to my books.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So?
Thank you.
My pleasure. Now we dive a little bit deeper into your biography. And before I start to share a little bit about you, I would like to give you the possibility to introduce you to the viewers and listeners. And then I'm going to ask some questions probably or add something about it.
Yes. Okay, this is the part where it gets a little...
We start now. That was the fun part. No?
Yeah, now it's action time. Okay, so a little bit about myself. Yeah. I'll just go ahead and explain something. You can cut me off if it's too long. You can tell me if I need to expand, right? But it's basically the story of my life is that I was born in Odense. I then left for the northern part of Zealand, just north of Copenhagen, where I lived until I moved to the city. And I've been out and about in big European cities and lived in other cities than Copenhagen for longer periods of my life. And now I'm out of the city again with a family. Mm-hmm. And so that's my private life, without making it too private, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I'm a tech author. I wanted to be an academic in the beginning of my career. Wanted to be a university professor. I actually got tenured at a university. But my career is one big mess. But a beautiful mess. I've always been attracted to opportunities. A lot of people has reached out to me and offered me positions. So basically I've been headhunted for the last 10 years of my career. I've also had a small consultancy that I built in connection to the books that I have published. Yeah. So that's me very, very briefly.
Okay. So I think there's much more to tell about you. I think I don't have to really introduce you to the audience, but I would still add a few sentences to what you said. So I think you are one of the most distinctive voice in our industry when it comes to metadata management. Yeah?
Thank you.
So I think what you have published with the Enterprise Data Catalog is a guide for many, and including myself. And I think a lot of people are excited about your new book that will be published soon. As we all think, it will be a bit more intense, rough, honest to the industry or to our industry, to our profession. And we will go definitely deeper into discussing that topic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
I hope I look forward to it.
You will, no worries.
You built up the fear that you built up the fear in me.
No worries. I got you.
Right where you want to have me, right?
On the sofa, exactly.
Now it's hard talk time. But I love that.
So, but you are an academic, yeah?
Yes.
So you, as you said, you spent a lot of time at the university. You did your PhD in library and information science.
Exactly.
Here in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Where you also worked quite some time in different companies. I saw that you worked for, I think you started somehow a little bit in Novo Nordisk, then you had some time at GN Group, you were at the Danish National Police,
Yeah.
And then you obviously joined Zinea, and that had also a huge role in your career, as you said. So there is like a lot of interesting, I would say, steps or milestones in your journey. And what is, I will say, so significant about you is, although you are a strong academic in library science and tech and so on, you have a very humanistic notion to many of these heavy tech topics. And I think that makes the complexity of the challenge that we have in our industry not only more relatable, but in a sense of you give it as that. Now I come back to Hans Christian, when I say like you share it in a way that it remains, the context remains with us, and it's easier to remember and to apply it. At least this is my impression when I read your work, and I can see that it comes from also own experience, which is due to the steps that you have done.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that is very precise. Yeah.
So Ole, until here everything is good, right? So working in law enforcement and in the pharma industry for quite some time, you were exposed to sensitive data quite heavily. What would you say is that environment tougher when you deal with metadata and data in general? I mean, based on where you came from with your PhD and so on.
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so.
Yeah. Okay. So would you say there were, you could find enough framework which you could rely on, or how was it for you? I mean, when you got into these positions and you were, without telling too much,
Yeah, I'm not allowed to say
Yeah.
go into specifics,
Yes,
but I can say that for the pharmaceutical, it's kind of two things. In fact, you would think that it's alike,
Yeah.
but it's not completely alike. Working in law enforcement, or like I am allowed to say that I worked for intelligence, right? So it's not really. It's obviously it's law enforcement, but intelligence is something a little different than normal policing, because you're not dealing with what has happened, but with what can happen, which is a different ball game.
Yeah.
And that altogether is different than the pharmaceutical sector.
Yeah.
Because in pharma, obviously, I'm exposed to a lot of sensitive data, but the most sensitive data is patient data, which pharmaceutical companies are not allowed to process in a way that can make them trace the actual patients. So from the very beginning of my career, I got exposed to dealing with personal sensitive data way before GDPR. I was very trained in the notion of thinking and that something is private. And in the case of pharmaceutical companies, it's very obviously because if they know the identity of their patients, they can bribe them.
Yeah.
And if they have the possibility, some will do it. And what's the interest of bribing a patient? Well, it's saying, okay, maybe your heart hurt a little by this pill, but it didn't hurt that much, right? I'm giving you $1,000 so you can sell that to the doctor. And obviously, that possibility must not exist. Now, the companies that I have worked for are very, very like law-abiding companies, but some companies in that goes for all verticals, are pushing the boundaries of what is legal, right? So that is why in the pharmaceuticals sector that you're not allowed to know these kind of things. For intelligence and the gathering of intelligence, that's very different.
Yeah, I can see that. I think what is interesting, why I find that so interesting to me is that it's a different setup of structure structure of data and how you want to structure the data. And as someone as you who has this depth knowledge about librarian science and information science, and so I find it interesting, for me it's interesting what you are sharing about the structure that you find there to basically get some logic into the operating model at these highly regulated, I would say, or highly restricted areas.
I think all the companies or organizations that I work for, I consider them obviously different, and their way of working shapes the logic of their domains, obviously, like how you would describe them from a metadata perspective. But the discipline is the same all over. And obviously the technologies evolve, and what we can do with the technologies evolve. But I'm not afraid of that. I embrace that. I love that.
Yeah.
But the principles, the methodologies, they very much remain the same.
So is that one reason why you then became from someone that is basically structuring knowledge to someone that is more now, kind of shaping the understanding of knowledge and how we should do it? So you are, you are a thought leader, you evangelize, yeah. So with the steps at Zinea and now Actian and with your books, so you took a different direction with that, yeah. So as you said, you embrace it and you like it. So is this setup being now an kind of book author and an evangelizer in that sense, is that more speaking to your nature and how you want to be kind of active in the industry?
Yes, I believe so. I mean, it's not something that I have asked for, but I think it's a combination of who I truly am. like the nature of my mentality, what I want to do. I want to teach, I want to educate, I want to discuss, I want to write, read. So it goes back to the ambitions of being a professor at the university, right? It's that desire to shape a community and to drive it forward with thinking that's my own. And then I think on top of that, a lot of things that has happened in my work life I didn't ask for. I wrote a book about data catalogs because at the time of me proposing the book to O'Reilly, I was confronted with data catalogs that I could see with my background functioned very poorly. They have this, like, I was confronted with technologies with big and very clunky meta models, and I just knew that, like, this would never express something real. So where these technologies were, at least at the time, relatively technically advanced, they were poorly conceived from a metadata management perspective. And I could see that right away. And so I was just thinking, I was working as an enterprise architect at the time, and I just thought to myself, well, I have something to say about this. And then O'Reilly agreed. And that book became, my first book became quite popular and gained a lot of traction, and a lot of people have used it in many different industries. I'm very proud of that, all over the world. And so that was, I didn't at the time, I didn't know that the title of Chief Evangelist existed. And I'm not sure I like that title anyway. But I was invited in as the Chief Evangelist on that premise. So that's, and that's happened a lot to me over the years.
Yeah, I like how you describe it, that it is, because I think in a way when you were at these companies, also like in a way of a consultant, I think this setup is teaching you in a way insights about our industry or about organizations, about the topics that you could probably not gain when you were, or I mean, as a consultant, so you get a different angle to that. And I like that you say, like, it's kind of also going back to university as a lecturer or as a professor, because I mean, it's not that classical professor image that you're gonna have now, but you still are in that sense academic, a writer, and a thought leader that tries to bring knowledge to people on a larger scale. And I like that, and I would like to know also, were there parts in your first book when you wrote the enterprise data catalog?
Now it comes. This is the knife.
There's no knife, so no, sorry, it's a mirror. So were there parts where you thought, like, okay, I understand why I wrote it at that time, but I had to remove it, and I wish I would have put it back into the book?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But I have absolutely no shame in saying that. I think one of the things of becoming a writer, so prior to my books, I have published many peer-reviewed articles. I have published my PhD dissertation, newspaper articles. So I'm an accustomed writer, also before writing my first book. And I think it's a very naive assumption to think that you write something in a process where you have a very raw draft, and then the manuscript matures, and then it's finalized and it's published. That is typically how people that are not very accustomed with writing thinks writing is. Writing is a little different. Obviously, you have some ideas that you have to materialize and make concrete. And then you describe them. But as you describe them, you obtain more and more knowledge about how to describe what you're describing. So at the end of the book, you are really well prepared for writing the book. And then it goes into publication. And the minute it goes into publication, you continue thinking. You continue evolving your ideas, changing perspectives. And so, yes, obviously, if the book was to be published a second time, I would do revisions to it. I would leave out stuff. I would change stuff. I would expand on certain topics, for sure.
Yeah, it's great that you shared it, because I think writing a book, I think writing a book which is supposed to guide professions in their discipline is already kind of tough. But it's, I think, even more trickier in the industry of data and tech, because it doesn't have a history of 100 years. So you cannot go and say like accounting, financing or whatever, and then you have like this large amount of references and books and you can refer to it. So while you were writing probably also pieces and bits of the Enterprise Data Catalog, I'm assuming that, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I could imagine that there's a process in your head of like, I have to finish this now because there's always coming something new to the table. And then I have to also mention this, or I have to mention that. And I will never be finished in that in a way.
No.
And then there's this maybe also uncertainty to a large extent, because as you said, this is like how you were seeing the stuff and the insights. But again, there's no 100 years of insights available when you wrote the book, and especially about the topic of data catalogs. That's even, like, I would say there's a lot, that's a tiny bit of time availability to say like, okay, there has been proven tools, established tools, companies that matured in it, and then you wrote about it. So you did, I would say, quite a lot of pioneer work in that sense.
Sure.
But it does has its risks.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. I was honestly shit scared when the book was to be published. Exactly, because this was not a book that was written from the typical tech perspective. It was written from this perspective of library information science, that it's not, I want to also stress that it's not a completely new type of O'Reilly book. There were very popular books in the 2000s that describe that were describing the web, the World Wide Web, and the information architecture on the World Wide Web. How much search engine works and how to structure data in HTML, RDF, all of these formats and markup languages that we have to make the web a functional thing, right? And a lot of those books were written by people with my kind of educational background, the likes of Louis Rosenfeld and Peter Morville comes to mind, but there are many, many more. And so what I did was I took that type of O'Reilly book and said, this also applies in an enterprise context with a different set of technologies, with a different purpose, but with the same underlying principles of how to structure taxonomies, ontologies. And so it kind of bridged some new worlds, or some worlds that hadn't been bridged before with my book. And I was very afraid if the book was like, if people were, and I think all writers are that, and I think it's a healthy sign. If you're not afraid, I'm also afraid of my second book. Let me be very honest about that. And I think if you're not afraid, you have nothing to say.
True.
If you're not afraid of what you're writing, you're just repeating conventional stuff. You have to put yourself out there and accept that each book you publish has to bring something new to the world. So you have to have something at stake. If not, the book is not interesting. And I see many uninteresting tech books. Many. Many boring, poorly written books.
Do you want to mention some?
Yes, I have a long list. No, I certainly do not. But I think what is unfortunately often the case with tech books is that they're very repetitive, and just the fact that they're gathering knowledge make the authors think that they are contributing with knowledge, but they're not. They're just listing stuff that already exists somewhere else. So
yeah. Is that, I mean, I think that fear is, as you said, is a positive fear.
yeah,
It sharpens the mind and
does.
it does make you more sensitive or sensitive in the sense of what is really working and not. Now, when you wrote the second book, after the success of your first book,
Thank you. Yeah.
was there more like a little bit like this kind of, what if they don't accept it? Or is it this time rather the case that you say, this book is more myself and how I see stuff. It's more authentic to what you have seen and have grown with, and what you would like now to share, even if people would probably disagree.
What do I feel about this second book? Am I more afraid? Is it more myself? And so my answer to that is that I learned after I published my first book and the revisions that I would possibly do to it now, I learned stuff. So it's not the same person writing the second book than the first book. But more than that, I think my second book is more embraced by data practitioners in big companies than all technology vendors. Because it's a more realistic description of what happens in companies. And that truth is not always beautiful. So therefore, some technology vendors, especially in the beginning, but that has luckily faded. But in the beginning, some technology vendors approached me saying, this is not a modern approach. This is not a crisp approach. Why are you writing this book? And I was all the time, even though I was not always very comfortable with it, I was always sure that I was right. Because I've been in the practical reality, and unfortunately many that work in software companies have never lived that reality. They don't know the mechanics or like the workings of organizational politics, which plays a huge role in metadata management, right? So I knew I was right, and now I'm very happy to see that companies pretty much all over reach out and embrace my ideas. That's really nice.
Would you say, though, that in the boardroom, because this is where the decisions are made, would you say they understand metadata management?
Oh, I have to watch out now. Now here it comes. Yes. No, but what do they understand? I mean, it's a board. It's a board, right? A board has to go through the very, very, very high level strategy of a company. They have to make sure that the finance department, like that the budget of the company is in good shape, and that the direction is right. I think actually I would reverse the question and say, if the board has an opinion about metadata management, it's most likely not a very good board. Because they shouldn't be bothered with it. What is the problem, though, is that the translations of the challenges with metadata management in companies is often lost from the persons performing it. I won't say on the floor, I don't like that term, but the practitioners like myself that has worked with these technologies that has headed up the departments running various metadata repositories, they often have experience a big disconnect between their reality and the reality in a boardroom. And I don't think that's the fault of any of the parties involved. I actually put forward a small sociology in my book that I call The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I think all employees and external consultants and software vendors, they can all play the role of the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I think some companies are very fortunate to have a functional metadata management setup. Yeah, but that's a more of, like, I don't think there is a recipe for that, to be honest.
You mentioned to one of your clients once, and that's why I asked this question, you mentioned to one of your clients once that your metadata, wait, I just want to make sure that I'm saying it right, your metadata mess is a cultural artifact. What do you mean when you say that?
I can't remember having said that. But
I can reference, I can show you from where I have it.
No, but I mean, I can speak to that. I think it's an expression of, like, we think of. So let me contextualize that specific quote in my way of thinking of metadata management. Because normally, if you look in typical textbooks, or if you look at diagrams provided by software vendors, what you will get is a very clean, very logical architecture with components that serve their purpose and only their purpose, and they do it well. But if you look into the reality of how organizations work, it's a way more complicated reality. You have clusters of metadata repositories that do all kinds of things. They have all been tweaked a little to do a little more, a little less, or something that they were not supposed to do, and that, I think, is an expression of a company history, of a company culture, and as such, it's an artifact. And I do think that the reasons why we fail with metadata management is very heavily linked to exactly this fact. It's the fact that we think of metadata management as a purely greenfield, academically shaped field, and not an empirical reality with different teams competing about funding, about power, with a lot of different technologies that have slightly overlapping capabilities. And once you find yourself in that mess, then yes, you could say that the total constellation of metadata repository is a cultural artifact.
You know, I agree very much to this statement. But it's not about my ideas or my opinions in this conversation. But I will have a question to what you just said, and I will bring it now back to what you actually to your academic background. So you studied for years, librarian science. So let me ask you first here: when you study, or when you have studied in that field, you probably have studied decades, if not centuries, of how human beings have captured and documented knowledge.
Oh, sure,
right?
Sure. You bet.
Yeah. So when you did that, how much have you looked also beyond just the pure technique, which I'm referring to is the culture around that? And if there is something from librarian science and the culture that kept that methodology alive, is there something in particular where you would say, we have lost this methodology or this notion, and we should bring it back?
Oh, I love your questions, Najim. I think it's a testimony of a very of the well-read guy that you are. So So I don't even know where to begin, because I think one of the things, like if we want to go back to antiquity, and this is not very data-ish, but if you study some of the Greek and Hellenic scholars of antiquity, you see that there is this link between the memorial poems of someone that has passed away, the epigram, which is a small, short poem where you describe a person that has passed away, the characteristics of the person, the desires, the events that happened, and the first card catalogs of the world, called the Pinakes, that was actually structured like the epigram, but instead of being a poem, it was actually an entry to the Library of Alexandria. And so you see the intermingling of poetry and the mechanics of storing and retrieving, in this case, literature, and that goes deep into human civilization across centuries and millennia. So we also see this in the present. I mean, what's the core structure of the message on the ARPANET in the 1960s? It's like a letter. It has an address, because you have to, if you want to send a small bit string through the ARPANET, the first versions of the internet, obviously you would need a little bit of metadata to connect the data with the metadata so that it could go in various directions and then come back again. That was the entire ideas of a distributed system, is that you could send information in the fastest possible ways. It didn't matter how it traveled from the sender to the receiver. All the various bits and pieces could go in their various directions, and they could all be assembled in the end. To do that, they had to mimic the structure of a letter. And so you see it again and again in history. And I think personally that was completely forgotten by many of the companies that built data catalogs. They didn't understand that they were doing more than technology, to be blunt, because that's obviously a little blunt to say, but I don't think they understood the core task at hand.
Yeah, I was about to say.
To be honest.
Yeah, so the purpose, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were skilled in building the technology, but how people would leverage that, they weren't very. So that really was the reason why I wanted to publish that book, and it's also the driver of my second book, is this lacking perspective on technology that is a blend of the technology and the core understanding of the technology itself, blended with human behavior and like intellectual heritage.
I have two follow-up questions.
Okay.
So, actually, I wanted to keep that one question for the end, but I will ask you now.
Okay.
If there would be a chance to rename the term metadata, would you take it and give it another name?
Not sure I will. I'm not sure I will, because I can't. I think I have many great friends online, and some of them I've met in reality.
Yeah.
Someone I met for the first time is you right now in real life, right? Yeah. So what I think is really necessary to think of in terms of metadata comes from a friend. I can't remember. I think it was Jessica Talisman or Ramona. I can't remember who it was, but it's not that important. But the thing is, it's a reader called Maria, actually. But like depending on who you ask, metadata means something different, right? It's a blend of a Greek and a Latin word, and it goes way back. So there's a lot of history to it. There's a lot of meaning in that word. Obviously, for many people in tech, there's no like actual understanding of the origin of that word. but the word itself, I mean, if you understand the origin of it, can be a container of what it should be, I believe. I don't think I would change it. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe I would. I don't know. Have I at some point said I wanted to change it?
No. I mean, I think it's a worth question, or I think I could imagine you maybe sitting at your desk and maybe asking yourself if that term is actually fitting or not. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think what I dislike about the term metadata is more the fact that it's very, very narrowly understood in the data community.
Yeah.
That is more like how I think of like metadata to me is a way of describing something that is in two places at once. That's my definition of metadata. It's something that fundamentally does not describe anything in particular, but it describes anything in particular that is at two places at once. So the metadata is both attached with what it describes. It could be the metadata of the laptop that you're using right now, the version of the laptop, the specific serial number, all of the things that characterize that particular laptop. And that is also stored somewhere else in DRIVA's internal systems for accounting or asset management or whatever, right? And so that is metadata. It links stuff together very concretely by being present with the source and in a registry somewhere, a repository of sorts. And I think metadata to that extent is in the data community poorly understood in general, to be honest. You tend to see these subdivisions of technical, business, and reference metadata, or social metadata. Like you can do all kinds of subcategories to data, but the problem is that those subcategories, that's not really what data is about, or metadata is about. That is just examples.
So what is humanized metadata about?
Humanized?
Yeah.
Like humanized in the sense that my take on metadata is different?
I would say your take is a bit different, yes. Yeah.
I would say all the others are wrong.
What?
I would say all the others are wrong.
Yeah.
It's not me that's different. It's all the others. All the others.
Yeah, I mean, what you have described, and that's, I think, I'm not saying the others are wrong. Yeah, I don't want to comment on that now. Yeah,
I'll take that.
No. What I want to say is, though, that the way you describe it, also with the examples that you have given and so on, is that that metadata has a bigger purpose than just, as you said, one particular case and being in one place to be used. So, in that sense, and you also mentioned that we have a little bit. Not, I would say lost, you probably not, but I would say we have lost the way how we consume in a conscious manner these kind of information. So it's very reactive in just a one-dimensional direction. So with the examples that you give, I would say like, you humanize it in a sense because although it's a very tech-driven topic, there is more to that, and that's what I assess in a way when I hear you talking.
Yes, absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
Now I think I better understand what you're saying. So typically, no, it's a complicated topic.
Yeah.
But in fact, as I see it, it's not very complicated once you get into the weeds, because what we have is an engineering culture, a data engineering culture, that is used to describing data sources at the metadata level from a database perspective or data storage perspective, like a really bottom-up perspective. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if we take a more holistic and perhaps humanized perspective to this and apply perhaps not a top-down, but a very horizontal way of thinking about metadata, what I suggest is something that is very concrete. And so let me be very concrete about it. If we have a chief information security officer with an information security management system, then that chief information security officer will list all the applications in the company, all the servers in the company, all the employees in the company. Now, if we go a little to the side, horizontally, next, and in the office next to the chief information security officer is perhaps someone in finance that works with an asset management system. And that asset management system lists all the applications in the company, all the employees in the company, all the servers in the company. And so we're repeating the same exercise again and again and again across the company, but in silos. And that's why I say that the nature of metadata, the definition of metadata is very important to understand, because we have to acknowledge the fact that a lot of different teams are doing the exact same thing for very different purposes all across a company. And so people have said to me, I proposed this architecture that I call the metagrid architecture. They have said to me that this architecture is very complicated, but it's not complicated at all. It's very, very simple. In fact, it's so simple that I'm more afraid of the people that tells me it's simple than the people that's telling me it's complicated. Because it's extremely simple. It's just saying if referring back to the example that I mentioned before, it's perhaps a good idea that the applications listed in the asset management system are the same as the ones in the information security management system. So once people get it, they have begun saying, oh, but this is master data management, or this is actually what our platform delivers, or this is, isn't this just another use case for agentic AI? And people begin recognizing themselves in it. And I think that is just fine.
I think what we have kind of lost in that sense is, again, like I mentioned before, it's a very reactive nature, how we deal with data or information or knowledge, and by that, would you agree when we say that the art of a librarian is very much to do with discovery? It's about discovering information, discovering knowledge, and sharing it then. And the way we now handle knowledge, information, is more about control. So I think what, in that sense, also the metagrid or data catalogs, and we talked about also if the name is fitting of enterprise data catalog and so on. And when we both agreed a little bit, it's more about collaboration and networking. So, and also having that in mind, would you say that what should be a core principle for people engaging in knowledge management and metadata management should be make it more about discovery than control and really feed that forward?
Oh yes, very much so. I really like that question. I think to me the discovery goes before control. Like you cannot govern what you cannot see. So control for me is something that is secondary to discovery. It's just that it's a very difficult topic to get buy-in from security people, right? but I am very convinced that it's a bigger risk to be uncertain than to be certain.
Would you agree that but by this more controlled approach, we are kind of minimizing ourselves. Isn't it the case? I mean, I would say, we do, as you said, we first discover, and then we maybe evaluate how much of protection or control this level or this information needs and so on. But I would say, like, before we do the step of control before we even really assess what we have actually discovered. Yeah. So there's what I want to say is, like, I see a little bit of short-sightedness, yeah, in dealing with how we do it. And as you said, like, the reality is that we have, like, these large amount of different metadata repositories that have maybe also redundant information and so on. Yeah. And I'm not saying that it is possible to completely eliminate that. I don't think so. It's
No,
not.
neither do I.
So, but my question is, though, so these repositories have been created for one particular, or let's say for a very isolated view for what they should be used. And as you said, there are information security managers and finance managers, HR managers. They probably all are dealing with employee data. Yeah. So this approach to say, like, we discover, and on the discovery we realize, hey, HR is also using that information, finance is also using that information. This is not so visible, yeah, in the approach, and I'm questioning that. Yeah, and I'm questioning that also from a governance perspective. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we need governance, data governance, information governance, is to bring actually these connectors into the picture to say, like, look, what you are at the moment discovering on information, metadata, whatsoever, yeah, is also related to what maybe the other domains are doing or are looking into. And then it's this federated domain setup that then has to also, in case by case, talk to each other and discover together, and then create repositories that are serving a greater good than just what they have in mind and want to control. I talked a lot, I know.
No, it's okay. You should be allowed to talk a lot also, not only me. I think that considering, like, the future, that I think in this context, generative AI, agentic AI will do a lot of good.
Yes.
And that what you just described definitely resonates as something that seems as a plausible future state. That said, I think we should be very cautious of the fact. So the way I read my second book right now, the way I think of it, is that it's actually a list of capabilities that you want to perform at the metadata level. And more than anything, I think those capabilities should stand the test of time and live in whatever type of technology we can give it to it. And maybe, as you described there, with a future that is more flexible and adjustable, then such a way of creating technology would be very a very good fit. And that said, a more simple part of the answer is that I don't think data discovery is a one-step process. It's a very organic and very long process. And there are deep studies of that goes back way before the web and everything in library information science. And history has its own, like the discipline of history as an academic field has its own way of searching for sources, right? But it's a very long process, and it shouldn't be just so the search engine perfectioned, like the quick and dirty search. One word, boom, you have the most relevant hit on top. But actually searching for stuff, searching for data is something that is longer and more complicated and more organic.
We will continue the conversation that we have.
Yeah.
You're already looking at the
trying to-
screen. Yeah. So what we do now is we play a little bit of game.
Okay. Yes.
So prior to the session, you shared a little bit of information with me, also about your hobbies. I think it will not surprise anyone when I say that one of your hobbies is reading and writing.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you also mentioned you like to gardening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a great hobby. Yeah.
Yes.
So I didn't prepare anything for gardening. I tell you why, because Martin Treder was part of the podcast.
Oh.
And he's also into gardening.
Okay.
So for him, I prepared a game which had to do with gardening. It was the Chief Data Officer Garden.
Oh,
yeah. So
nice.
yeah, you can look into that. And then you said you are into sailing also.
Yes.
I didn't prepare a game for sailing.
Oh, okay.
Why? Because Sebastian Kaus from Vattenfall, you probably know Vattenfall, the energy company. Yeah. He's the head of data governance at Vattenfall, Germany, and he likes to sail.
Oh.
So I did sailing with him, which is all good, because the best hobby that you have, no one had before, which is sourdough baking.
Yes.
Yes. I think people who are watching this will be surprised that you have baking as and sourdough basically as a hobby.
I bake a lot. I really do bake a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
There's really nothing like baking.
And I've heard the Danish are the best baker.
In the world. Yes. The best in the world.
And
At
you
least
are-
if you ask the Danes, right?
Yeah, and you are French Danish, so you
yes,
bring
yes.
the best combination to the table.
It's next level. Next level. No, I think, no, I really like to bake. I really like to bake. I bake a lot. Yeah, I bake a lot.
So is it because, I mean, like some people say, like, I'm the entire day I'm sitting in front of a desk and I have to deal with like abstract topics and so on, and then when I do something like gardening or baking or cooking, it's like something tangible, and the results that I can see is immediately there, and I can even taste it. Is that a reason, or?
Oh, I think I wanted to, it goes way back. I mean, I've been baking for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's really something that I like doing. And so, I mean, I just love baking. It's just, this is not part of my professional life. So I'm not used to explaining why I love baking. It's just
you see, this is now the knife question.
yeah, here it comes. Here it comes.
Yeah, baking, huh?
Yeah, baking. You say you bake. Okay.
No, I like it though, because I like it because I like to cook as well, like very much, and I do my dough for pizza and like other stuff, and my wife is also doing sourdough baking and so on, and I know it's very tough. It's not easy.
No. Yeah, I maybe disagree a little bit. I think it's quite easy.
Okay, you want to tell me that my wife is not good? That's why it takes.
It's getting worse and worse.
Just joking, no worries. She's not watching the show anyway.
I think depends. Like, do you want to geek about sourdough baking? Because
Yeah,
I can
we can
definitely explain why I think it's easy.
Wait, you do it on the game, okay? Because
okay,
what I have prepared now is a game.
Okay.
The metadata bake-off, rise it or slice it, okay?
Okay.
So
nice.
there's behind each of these little boxes,
I like
are
this.
questions, okay? And we have used sourdough as a metaphor to touch a little bit of metadata management activities, and you have to tell us, is that case something that you would rise or slice? So basically, would you go for it and bake it, or would you bin it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So there are 7 questions. We don't have to touch all of them, but you're free to select which one you want to go.
Top left corner.
Top left. Okay. So The one-legged Benetton. You have shaped the dough, proofed it overnight, and just before baking, you realized you used a cracked Benetton. The loaf comes out lopsided, collapsed on one side, but you still serve it. Would you do that? And for what would be that? Maybe a metaphor a little bit to metadata.
Yeah, but that's pretty much like many metadata repositories are served, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would serve it.
You would serve it?
Yeah,
You would go for it?
Yeah, I would size it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would.
Okay, good. Has that ever happened to you that you used a cracked Benetton for your...
Yeah.
No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know out of experience you would still go for it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Sure.
good.
No, because I've been baked for so...
Yeah.
In the beginning, I never post anything on Instagram about my baking.
Yeah,
but in the beginning, when you have baked breads, you take pictures of them all the time. I know exactly how good I am at baking. I'm not afraid of making mistakes.
Okay. This is confidence. I like that. Yeah. Okay, good.
I'm the best in the world.
I can see now. Okay. All right, Ole. Where you want to go next?
Okay, so the one in the middle.
Which this one here, the bottom?
Yeah, in the bottom. Yes. The loaf without a name.
The loaf without a name. You walked into the bakery. There's a fresh loaf on the counter. It smells good. It looks good. But there's no label, no note, and no one takes credit for baking it.
So if I would buy it?
Yeah, would you go for it?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I think I would. No metadata, obviously. Poorly constructed setup.
Exactly. So you would go for it, because you think it's highly regulated in Denmark, nothing can happen.
Oh, okay. So I would. No, that thought didn't even occur to me. No.
I mean, it looks good, it smells good, but you don't know how. Is it expired?
No.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. Normally old bread doesn't smell.
Yeah.
But then if you put some water on it, the sourdough will reactivate and it will have a slight smell of alcohol because it's the same fermentation that you use in beer making. So old bread wouldn't have a smell.
Okay. So it's fresh. It says also fresh. So.
And if it's fresh, it's good.
Okay.
I'll go for it. Okay. I'll go for it.
Okay. Good.
Size it. That's it.
Okay. Okay. So how often do you bake? Is it on a weekly basis or?
I bake 4 sourdough breads, 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And then I bake pizza on Mondays. Yeah.
You do pizzas as well? Nice.
Yeah, I do pizzas as well.
Okay, we have to do it together once.
Yes, with pleasure. Sourdough pizza.
Yeah. Because I used to work in a pizza bakery.
Oh, okay. And then I challenge you.
No, we can do a challenge.
Let's do the pizza challenge.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay, good. Next question, Ole.
Yes, in the middle on the right side.
Okay, let's go for it. So, the sourdough that went rogue. Someone started a new starter without telling anyone. It wasn't documented, overproofed. It wasn't documented, overproofed overnight, exploded in the fridge, and now it's contaminating the rest.
Yeah. No, we slice it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have concerns when you would have said something different.
No. We slice it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a poorly conceived sourdough.
Yeah. Could you see the analogy to metadata here?
Yes, obviously, like an overly technology-focused answer to metadata, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I could definitely see. We have a lot of that in metadata management. We get that a lot.
We get that a lot, right?
Exploding those.
Let me ask you here a question. You're writing about these topics, but how often do you still see metadata catalogs of companies? Is that still something that you do, analyze metadata setups, structures of companies?
Like in real companies?
Yes.
I would do it mostly with my own consultancy.
Yeah.
I don't do it that much.
Yeah.
I do it now, obviously, with the customers of Actian,
Yeah.
but I can't speak too much about the details.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just for me about knowing how much are you still at the front.
Oh, yes. But I am very much at the front of that.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
I don't want to be salesy on this, but if we have a flexible meta model, meaning that we have to engage in a dialogue with the customer to make it work, and then it really works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I can imagine, it's like if you have Ole, the author of the Enterprise Data Catalog, coming and analyzing, I can assume some people would have like a little bit of shaking knees. What the hell is this guy now saying to us? What do we show him? What are the good cases that we can present to him?
Well, I think I made the mistake once to say that to a customer of ours that they had really done a very poor job of implementing their data catalog, that I would do it very differently.
Okay.
And then because I'm not like I don't think too much of myself.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm a humble guy.
Yeah.
But I kind of realized that I perhaps made a guy lose his job.
Okay.
Anyway, they're not our customers anymore. Let me tell you that. But that is it. Then I learned to be more diplomatic. But in general, I see a lot of good stuff out there.
Okay, good.
I'm happy to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay. Good.
Yeah. No, but I can be like unconsciously or like unaware of how brutal I can be at sometimes.
Okay.
But I try not to.
Okay. So you are brutal and let's say confident when it comes to your
I can.
To your baking.
that tends to surprise people.
Yeah.
That I can be extremely cash.
Yeah.
But because I'm normally not, I'm very laid back but I can be unpleasant. Yes.
So do you have this competitive nature in you when you a little bit because some people have it when they play games, normally they're very calm.
Yeah.
But when they do baking or when they play a game, football, basketball, or board games, then they become a little bit competitive, edgy.
I'm very discreet about my edginess. I'm very discreet about it.
Yeah, I can.
But when you feel it, you know it's.
I can. Okay. Good. Okay, then. You good for another question?
Yes, sure. I love this. The top right corner. I want to try all of them if we have time.
Let's try it. Okay, the 47 field sourdough. A loaf comes out with 47 different ingredients, each added by a different baker. It's dense, heavy, and no one knows what's actually supposed to taste like.
Size it. 100%.
Why?
Because it's not necessarily bad.
Okay.
It may be very bad, but not necessarily.
Okay. Has anyone ever complained about what you were baking?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so. But she's not my girlfriend anymore.
Maybe because of that.
No, it's a private thing.
Okay.
That one we don't have.
Okay. Let's go. Oh shit, where's the question here? So, there it is.
There it is.
Okay. The heritage starter in the golden jar. This starter's been passed down for 12 years. It's kept in a golden label jar, tracked meticulously and used to bake the core loaves daily.
Okay, and that one, slice it.
Yeah?
Yeah. The story of sourdough is not important.
Okay.
It can be 1 week old or 200 years old.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
How old is yours?
It's just nostalgia. It has nothing to do.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like it's a good story to tell, but it's nothing but a story.
Yeah, I see a lot of people claiming.
It's just the violin.
Okay. It's just some bragging.
Yeah.
Okay.
The choice does not get any better.
Okay.
It's just pure. It's just BS.
Okay, if you say so, yes. I will believe it. Okay, we have 2 more.
I want to try them if we have time. I mean, I think this is really fun.
Okay. Let's see. We can get it done. But I don't know why it's a little bit. Where's my text?
Oh, it's a lot of layers. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The daily feed spreadsheet. The bakery keeps all its sourdough feeding logs in a shared spreadsheet. It's old school, has some weird formatting quirks, but everyone updates it daily without fail.
Yes, that is a keeper.
Keeper, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
obviously a keeper.
Yeah, yeah.
Metadata management is only as good as the people that performs it, right?
Good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good.
Never kill
Yeah.
the good, or never try to implement perfection at the expense of the good. Never.
Last one.
Yes.
Here's the question. There. The wild yeast whisperer. A baker figures out how to use natural fermentation from the environment. No commercial yeast. It's unpredictable but creates amazing complex loaves. If you trust the process. Do you trust the process?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
In metadata and in sourdough alike. That is
Good.
Yes. No. For sourdough, I trust the process, but not for metadata.
I was just about to
I
say.
just had to. Sorry.
Oh, good. Okay, that were all questions.
Oh, I love that. Please send that one to me.
I will.
That's
I will.
a nice,
I will send it to you.
Nice memory.
Great.
Thank you.
Ah, my pleasure.
This was really fun. I really enjoyed that.
Great that you like it. So, now.
That was nice.
Ready for, okay.
Yeah, let's go on. I mean,
okay, we have a few minutes left, so I would like to, after, you see, you were so afraid. You see, there's no knife in the game.
No, but it's the way you say it. It's like the calm eyes. There's no reason to be afraid. No reason at all. You get so afraid.
I try to be very calm.
Yes, but it's
trustworthy.
It's not working, Najib.
It's not working. Okay, I see that. How do you think about this data-centric approach in general? I mean, metadata is obviously a part of it, but do you say companies should be data-centric? Is that something that we should advocate for? Or is it something else?
I think we should I think companies should have more value out of their data. I'm not sure being data-centric is the answer to that. Because as I see data-centric, it's a mindset that is in fact very narrow. It excludes a lot of things that are necessary to succeed with data. Data-centric is the only, or the data community. I don't see, for example, ontologies as anything new. It's obviously being celebrated from like with an interval of like 10, 20 years in the data community as something new. But it's a very old discipline and a very old way of thinking. So I see data-centric as a little bit of a challenge to succeed with data altogether.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you would have asked me a few years ago, I would have said, no, data centricity is what we should aim for. But now I changed my mind. I think the topic of data is still so misunderstood, wrongfully placed.
Yeah, agreed.
And far from reality to even advocate that thought, yeah, because we say so many still immature companies dealing with their data, and then you go there and you say like, hey, we have a data strategy for you, and your data strategy is basically forcing you to become data centric. How on earth can that succeed?
Yeah, I agree. and also, like, if you look, like, I don't get me wrong, I love data.
Yeah.
But when you look at data, and when you actually look at it, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so to think that you can kind of extract all the methodologies and principles and ideas on how to manage data from the raw source itself, and the people that have been used to very meticulously. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about data analysts or anyone that does data work, but it's just that you cannot have those people provide the only answers to succeed with data. It doesn't make any sense. Basically, it's all just digits in cells, right?
Yeah.
That's data.
Yeah. So having that said now, yeah. So your first book, Enterprise Data Catalog, was about a tool.
Yes.
The metagrid, which the concept of the metagrid, which is the core, I would say, of your second book, yeah. It's not about a tool. It's not even necessarily about architecture in that sense. It's about seeing. Yeah. So this is really significant to me because of, you just said also like data in itself, like this, it's, you said dump, yeah.
It is.
It is, yeah. So, how do you think, what does it take to see people more? Is that the reason why you wrote the meta grid concept? Because you say it's less about the applications, the pipes, and so on. It's about really these seeing. And by seeing, when we say about seeing is then about sensing, about reflecting, and going beyond just what is the eye only capturing. Is that something that was in your head?
I think why I've proposed an architecture that I call the metagrid, and I agree, it's obviously a very important concept in my book. I think as important as the metagrid is the notion of the data discovery team, but maybe we don't have time to discuss that. But the metagrid, as I see it, is a pragmatic way forward in a real reality, meaning that you will have companies with an enormous, like 5 or 6 data catalogs, 2 configuration management databases because of a merger and acquisition that never happened at the IT level, multiple asset management systems, and so forth, right? You have a lot of different tools, and you have many of the various tools, and they all together depict the IT landscape and the company or the organization at large. And so what I propose with the metagrid is a pragmatic way of coordinating these more than anything else. It's very easy to say that you can build a technology that can harmonize and provide yet another layer. But then I would introduce the root cause of the problem again, instead of solving the problem. So that's how I see it. And that's also why it's a very simple architecture. It's basically an integration architecture. It may not even be integration architecture. It may just be a set of documents that enable a practice. I don't think you would call that an architecture.
Would you call it an interpreter or?
Yeah.
I tell you why. Because when I was preparing for a conversation, and I read what you have so far published about the metagrid, and you, like you, I'm also an advocate of federation. And when we both say, okay, we have federated setups and we have federated data repositories, that means that metadata, depending on the domain, the boundaries that it has, probably has its own language. So is the metagrid in that sense the interpreter, the diplomat, that is then making a full picture out of it?
I would say there's no way around that, as I see it. If you trace the history of human civilization and you look at every single metadata system, classification systems, taxonomies, list of words, illnesses in hospitals, there is no objective categorization out there. As Peter Morville famously said, all categories are wrong. That's why we need them. And so I would always say that metadata is a result of human interpretation.
Yeah.
That sometimes gives me not so much hope. But also, like, it's just a It's just a matter of fact.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, I think it's the reality, isn't it?
It is the reality.
Yeah,
It
and I
is.
don't think, I mean, with all due respect, I'm maybe not. I mean, I'm not in a position like you to maybe give a judgment like this. But I think it's not about perfection here. It's
No.
about improving as much as necessary and working towards that image, although it will be unreachable.
Yes. What we have always lived in humanity, as humans, I think there's no way of escaping as a subjective bias in metadata management. But I'm not too afraid of that. I mean, it's just how it is. What I would be more cautious about, I wouldn't be afraid of it, but I would be cautious if we, in a company setting, strive towards something where we claim we have eliminated that element. That sometimes happens in strong engineering cultures. We didn't talk too much about that, but basically there is this clash between an engineering culture with technology, answers to problems, and then a history that you could say is perhaps rooted in the humanities or adjacent fields that understands the nature of human communication as something that is context dependent and ever changing. So you can obviously claim that you have won some kind of objective truth, but very rarely so in a semantic universe. That's very naive, I think.
Ole, I could keep asking you questions and enjoying the conversation, learning and laughing.
Yeah. Likewise.
I hope we can continue at one point the session here. But for now, I think we have to make a cut. And I would like to give you now the chance to kind of maybe give us a little bit of summary or recap about what we talked. So what you would like the listeners and viewers to take as a key takeaway about our conversation about metadata. Or sourdough.
Yeah, or sourdough. Well, I think I want to turn it around instead, Jim, and say thank you very much for this invitation. In the data community, you get a lot of invitations from podcasters and influencers that are very shallow. And I think I want to take a moment and just acknowledge that you not only came extremely well prepared, but also deeply involved and asked very, very interesting questions. So thank you very, very much, Jim. You even came, we live close by, but you came to my city, to Copenhagen. So thank you very much for that. And more than anything, I would like that to be the message that please keep doing what you're doing with this kind of interview and with your thinking and writing in general. I would love to see more from you. So more than talking, I have talked enough about myself. So
thank you, Ole. Thank you. I much appreciated. I told you it was a. I mean, you made our bromance public already. So it was a pleasure to be a guest in your city and giving you maybe a view on yourself and where you come from and so on from an outsider perspective. And
I'm amazed at the level of preparation and the depth of the questions and your reading of who I am. That's very, very generous and it's rare to experience. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So Ole, I have though a final question.
No, now it comes.
No. It's like you saw that at the beginning. I gave you a fun fact about the river, or of Odense, and so we closed the episode where the guest is giving an analogy or like a metaphor to data and river, because I don't even know if you know that DRIVA stands for data and river. Have I ever told you that?
No, I didn't know
So
that.
that's actually the name of our company, DRIVA. That's why it's pronounced DRIVA and not driver as many think, but I'm cool with driver as well. Yeah, it stands for data and river. So that's why this water and river stuff at the beginning and also at the end. So yeah, you know that I'm a fairy tailer. So
Yeah, it's wonderful.
so I would like to give you now the possibility to maybe come up with a analogy or a metaphor where you think that data and river, data and water is actually a good fit for each other.
Oh, but I think that is a very. I honestly think that's a very common way of thinking of data. I think Jean-Marc Garnier coined it very beautifully in her book on data mesh that data often refers to the metaphors of water. You think of the pipeline. You think of the data lake, the data lake house, the streams of data. Everything that revolves around data has a certain viscosity to it.
Yeah.
So I think. So should I come up with another metaphor?
No, you can, whatever comes into your head. I mean, basically you gave me already an answer.
Yes,
but if you would like to highlight another thing.
Let's say that in terms, now I mentioned viscosity. Let's say that metadata should be a thicker liquid than the data itself.
I like that. I take that.
You have to.
I have to. Ole, it was really, really, really so much fun to have you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed very much the conversation. And nothing else to thank you. And I think we anyway going to stay in touch and keep the conversation going. But I hope the viewers will enjoy it. They can leave comments, remarks, whatever. We will have it on YouTube. We will have it on Spotify. But I will let you know once it is out and ready. So thank you.
Thank you, Najim.
Thank you.
This was a pleasure. Thank you so much.